Before we get into the video, I just gotta say, Nintendo did provide this game to me. A huge thank you to Nintendo for providing that product.
Oh God, Loxton, I don't think you've stooped so low with your thumbnails before. Not only is it a fart joke, but it's a DeviantArt brat fetishist tear fart joke. I thought you were trying not to pander to that audience.
Dang it, Maxwell, will you get out of here? And besides, passing gas is a means of communication for many animals. And that very well could be a part of Kirby's stinky secret.
If you say so. Just get ready for the hate comments. I'll be sure to forward each one of them to your email.
Thank you for that. So Kirby, everyone's favorite pink thing.
That's how everyone starts their Kirby videos.
I said get out of here! Go! Kirby's new game just came out and it is a blast! Loads of co-op fun. The new gimmick this time around is Kirby's ability to pull up a heart and throw it at dudes to make enemies become friends. And that is exactly what we're going to be talking about today. How would such an ability work in the real world? Okay, so here's what we know. Kirby throws hearts at his target. This in turn causes them to change color depending on what rank they are, and then become his ally. Now, at first we thought he was blowing kisses, but really he more just pulls a heart out of nowhere and throws it at him? But how does he do that? Is it a mind control magic heart? Or could there possibly be some real-life science at work here? Now, I know we could just dismiss this as, oh, it's a video game, why overthink it, and why not just say it's magic? But that's no fun, is it? I really like to stretch the old noggin, take it for a nice jog.
And if you think that way, why did you even click on the video, idiot?
Be nice. So is there any way that Kirby would be able to blow a kiss or throw a heart at an enemy and change their minds about fighting? Well, you know, funnily enough, that's not that far off from the real world. You see, animals and even humans, heck plants too, are all affected by their surroundings and environment. You, looking at this screen, listening to me talk, is changing what you're thinking about right now. I could say watermelon zebra, and boom! It's in your imagination right now. Mind control. Also, the graphic on screen helps. But what if I could change what you were thinking by just existing? Just standing next to you? Or without you even knowing you were receiving the information? Well, that's what we call pheromones. Small chemicals suspended in the air by most creatures. They affect everything, even you. Every time you breathe, you're inhaling millions of small particles, and some may have special meanings to you, or a plant, or an animal. It all has to do with how your body interprets these tiny particles. Almost all animals have or can sense pheromones. Even humans are able to emit and read them, and they come in all shapes and sizes. There are many different scents or sets of pheromones that animals use. Many of them are to alert others of predators or territorial marks. But today, there's only one we're really going to talk about, and that is the releaser and attraction pheromone. That's right, Kirby's gotta be using some ultra strong pheromones, possibly even magically strong ones, in order to make his enemies become his allies in this new title. We see he gets this ability through some falling alien device or alien magic, perhaps a heavily modified pheromone itself. And I mean, look at him. He just makes a happy face and sends a mysterious heart at the target. Once struck, they turncoat and start to murder their brothers in arms. The heart itself may be produced when he lifts his arms up. Possibly his pheromones are the strongest there. Many species release their primary pheromones through their underarms after all. It's quite musky. But what are pheromones exactly? Well, I'll tell you. Pheromones are scent chemicals that are used for communication between the same species, normally. Like, for example, a food trail that ants follow. They follow that and know what the trail is because of pheromones. Because of their pheromones, they can all tell what each other are thinking. Have you ever wondered why you can squish one ant that got into Arlo's month-old cookie that he left on my desk? And in a few minutes, there's just more of them. Just ants everywhere. Just ants! Well, you can thank pheromones for that one. Even in death, ants release a pheromone that lets the other ants know,
Hey, I died. Could you come get my body and bring it to the graveyard? I'd really appreciate it.
So, more ants follow the trail to find the dead ant, and on the way, of course, they find the cookie.
Got blue fur all over it. Yeah.
You see, ants just love to emit pheromones. In fact, most bugs do. The insect kingdom is dominated by smell. But what about Kirby? Kirby's not an insect. Kirby is a mammal. I think. I know he's not a bug at least. Bug Kirby does sound cute though. Mammals also use pheromones, but on a much smaller scale. Normally it's only used for mating or marking one's territory, and as stated, even humans have pheromones, though we normally rely a lot more on visual clues than odor pheromones. But we do still take them in subconsciously. This affects women the most, and it's in relation to their menstrual cycle. Ever hear about besties syncing up? That actually happens, and it's because of pheromones. On the male human side, though, there are certain body chemicals found in body odor that only males produce, such as androstenone, produced to help subconsciously attract women. A few studies have shown that people who complement each other genetically, meaning they have good genes and would produce the best offspring with each other, tend to enjoy each other's smell. In fact, some people are drawn to someone based just off of body odor alone. Released in humans along with sweat and normally concentrated in the armpits, these smells helped us survive while we were an early race. And to further get sidetracked on things that don't particularly pertain to the video, another great example is the researchers at Stony Brook University. They found in 2009 that sniffing the sweat of first-time parachute jumpers could increase a person's ability to discriminate between ambiguous emotional expressions. The implication is that chemicals in the jumper's sweat might constitute an alarm signal, which puts the recipient on high alert and makes them more attentive to details. Because when you're jumping out of an airplane the first time, you are definitely terrified, and your sweat says that. So when someone smells your sweat with all of its pheromones, they can tell that at the time you sweated that sweat, you were scared. Pheromones. They're way cool. And smelly. But these are all small-time little things. I mean, Kirby is using people against people, or creatures against creatures, I guess. There is some extreme wolololing going on. Do people still get that? Is that a joke that's still relevant? Am I getting old? Well, leave it to humans to have weaponized pheromones, taking everything to the extreme, as humans do. Humans have created insect traps that don't actually trap any insects, but rather release strengthened sex pheromones to attract the males of any particular insect species, which in turn reduces their numbers overall, because there is so much pheromone in the air that they can't actually breed anymore. You can also spray predatory pheromones around your house to keep smaller pests away, like bugs and even mice. Likewise, if you wanted to, for some reason, you can do the opposite. Like Kirby, and just make all the mice your friends. Hey mice, come on, get out of here, ants! It's possible Kirby actually gained this ability of having extra powerful attraction pheromones capable of changing the target's reasoning through the advanced pheromone technology of this alien guy in the intro. And this pheromone is capable of basically switching an internal diode in the brain that changes what the creature sees as a friend and what it sees as an enemy. And in fact, it's a bit terrifying, but there are things that are capable of changing how others perceive pheromones. Take, for instance, the Cordyceps unilaterus, more commonly known as the thing that turns ants into zombies and is a fungus. This fungus eats its way inside of an ant's brain, and then takes control of the brain with mold tentacles. I know, good image in your head there. And then it will change how that ant perceives pheromones, essentially making it believe that it's doing the normal thing to do. It will then go hang out on a leaf or a stick about 25 centimeters off the ground facing north, surrounded by the correct humidity, and the spores will then spread and start the cycle all over again. Crazy stuff. And that's not all. You know how mice are scared of cats? There's a parasite that causes what's called toxoplasmosis, which releases chemicals and pheromones into the brain of the mouse to basically flip a switch that makes the mice no longer fear the pheromones of cats. In fact, it flips the switch to make it the opposite. The pheromones of cats now attract the mouse. The mouse wants to cuddle the cats. The parasite does this because the parasite wants to get into the cat. And so, like, if it's in a mouse, you know, make the mouse love the cat. Now the mouse gets eaten. Now the parasite's in a cat. It lives in the cat. Comes out in its poop and then breeds. That's how it do. It's kind of gross and scary. There's some people that say it affects humans, but don't worry about that. Let's get back on track. So, what if Kirby is infecting these poor creatures with some sort of fungus or heart-shaped parasite? Or maybe this heart-shaped bubble is full of chemicals and pheromones that change what they actually perceive as a friend and foe. Also, what would that smell like? Let's not think about that. But curiously, when doused in this heart bubble, you can see this fungus or chemical take over their bodies. Just look, they change color. Then they follow Kirby like ducklings in a row, entranced by his aroma, his cocktail of pheromones. It's no wonder Kirby needs to hold his weapons up high. He's releasing more and more pheromones from his armpits, all to elicit a specific response from the zombie-like co-op partners to add their powers to your weapon. And even then, if we don't go the fungus route, there's still the normal attraction pheromones, more commonly referred to as sex pheromones. Many animals have these types of pheromones. It's a strong drive in many creatures, after all, to breed. Is Kirby using these attraction pheromones to promise some action later? So of course the enemies are gonna follow. No, that's silly, and I'm pretty sure that's illegal. So what do you think? Is it possible that Kirby is using highly advanced pheromones to control these baddies? Let me know down in the comments. And thanks so much for watching this video, it really means a lot to me, and thanks again Nintendo for providing this game for us to play, and really use our noggins on. We're going to do a whole bunch more Kirby content coming up, so make sure you hit the bell button down below so that you know when that happens. And until next time, never stop using that noggin. Get stupid ants.